Good evening. Welcome to ThaiPBS English News Service. I'm Super Jonathan Swan. Starting off tonight's news with some bad news on tourists. A female Australian tourist was stabbed to death in Phuket yesterday as two Thai suspects were allegedly trying to snatch her bag. Phuket police says a full-scale manhunt is underway as this case will damage Phuket's reputation. 60-year-old Michelle Elizabeth Smith, believed to be a travel agent from Australia, was attacked by two men aged between 20 and 25 riding a Honda motorbike past the Katatani Hotel on Coron Beach. Closed-circuit TV pictures show that one of the men is holding a knife, yet the license plate could not be clearly seen. Police Colonel Sirisak Wasa Siri Karatu Police Station Superintendent said Smith was stabbed in the chest on the street outside the resort, and she was trying to hold onto her bag, and one of the victim's friends was wounded in her right arm. Police suggest the knife punctured Smith's heart and she died at the scene. Phuket police say arresting the two men is top priority as this case is damaging Phuket's reputation as a paradise island. And despite concerns that NASA's proposed activities at U-Tapao airport may be related to the observation of neighboring countries, the foreign minister is still trying to push for approval because he believes that Thailand will benefit from NASA's study base on regional climate conditions and the proposed disaster relief center. The U.S., however, insists it needs to know the government's final answer by Tuesday. Despite the controversy over the U.S. space agency NASA's request for the Thai government's permission to set up a study base on regional climate conditions at U-Tapao Airport in Rayong province, Foreign Minister Surapong Tawichakchaikun is trying to push the NASA project forward without parliamentary approval. He revealed that NASA's request was by the previous government, which had already agreed to sign the official agreement with NASA. Surapong, however, is asking the U.S. government to inform Thailand's neighboring countries that NASA's activities will include receiving aviation and satellite imagery, as this may violate the neighboring country's privacy. Parliament's Subcommittee on Foreign Affairs are strongly concerned that NASA's study base at U-Tapao Airport may be used for the observation of neighboring countries, especially China, since the U.S.-based U-Tapao Airport as a military base to attack the bombing in neighboring countries like Vietnam and Myanmar during the Vietnam War. The Thai government of the day had to go through trouble to recover trust from those countries. This NASA project will cost some 900 million baht, yet if the government cannot provide the final answer by next Tuesday, NASA will cancel the project. If NASA does cancel, the foreign minister claims Thailand will miss out on knowledge and income from NASA's study base at U-Tapao. Air Chief Marshal Sukampol Suwanatat, Defense Minister, revealed that if the government grants permission for NASA to set up a study base, the Defense Ministry will monitor this project closely. Furthermore, the Prime Minister has set up an ad hoc committee to study this issue and whether NASA's activities affect national stability or not. The Central Labour Court will be adjudicating on the petition submitted by Piasawat Amaranand, former Thai Airways president, on July the 24th. Earlier this morning, the former TG president sued Thai Airways for unfair dismissal, and he sought to either stay in position or receive 10 million baht in compensation. Additionally, he wants the government to establish legal means to prevent policies and politicians from intervening in state enterprises. Today, Piasawat Amaranand, former TG president, and his lawyer filed a petition at the Central Labour Court accusing the airline's unfair dismissal. The labor union of the state enterprise and some Thai Airways employees were also present to offer Piasawat moral support. In his petition, the former TG president asked the Thai Airways to compensate him with a full 10 million baht, which he would have received before the term of the contract ends on July the 11th next year, or to reconsider his dismissal and return him to his position. Earlier on, the airline compensated Piasawat with 5.4 million baht for the first 6 months after being officially laid off, but did not pay the remaining 6 months of his contract. Prior to being laid off, the former TG president sent letters to more than 25,000 employees, noting that past work performance has helped the airline to achieve its targeted 6 billion baht in profits. Piasawat later indicated that his petition was to set a precedent and urged the government to set a norm that prevents politics from intervening in state enterprises. The Central Labour Court will announce its initial The Central Labor Court will announce its initial adjudication on the case on July the 24th. And despite the Disease Control Department's claims that the latest round of H1N1 infections in Myanmar Province are under control, health units in the northeast are rechecking schools where students may be carrying the virus. Suranari Witya school students were tested by teachers and health officials for possible H1N1 infection. No students were found to have symptoms of H1N1. The checks came after speculation that an outbreak of H1N1 at a local hospital on June the 8th occurred when two sick students from this school visited the hospital. 3 patients at Maharaj Nakhon Ratchasima Hospital infected with the virus are now in quarantine. The Director General of the Disease Control Department claims H1N1 is now under control, and those currently showing signs of possible H1N1 infection are probably suffering common influenza. Following much controversy surrounding the breast painting incident on the popular Thailand's Got Talent show this past Sunday, the National Broadcasting and Telecommunications Commission, or NBTC, fined Channel 3 500,000 baht for allowing pornographic content to be aired. While more regulations may be needed to control the media and its content, the NBTC Commissioner believes that the media also needs to uphold a code of ethics and the public scrutiny is important. Here's more from Kun Rungtip Chonapalai.
But it's not just for the black screen, yes. Also now the obscenity of the Thailand's Got Talent earlier.
Yeah, this one's very controversial, so NBTC made a judgment based on the evidence that we invited Channel 3. Why we invited Channel 3? Because Channel 3 is the licensee, considered a licensee that NBTC has a legal authority to invite them, and they confess that it's their mistake. So that's why it's first step is easier, because they admitted that it's a mistake by themselves, and the expert who's sitting in subcommittee already made a conclusion that this violated Article 37 in the Broadcasting Act. So, and 5 board members also made judgment that it's considered obscenity and indecency. So that's why we think that, but it's the first time that, so that's why we just only fine them for 500,000 baht.
But how do we prevent this not to happen in the near future?
Absolutely, this is about code of ethics of the media. So I think in coming future, besides exercising legal authority, which might not work in the long run, but we have to engage broadcaster and media professionalism to develop a code of ethics and self-regulation and strengthening them that the ethic of the media somehow is more important actually than the legal obligation, and the social pressure and public scrutiny and public monitor. It also would help the media to have more accountability and responsibility to the society.
Among the many potential advantages of Thailand's membership of the ASEAN Economic Community, increased mutual exchange of students and academics within the region is sure to prove to be very beneficial for Thai education standards. A professor of international relations and the Secretary General of the Office of the Basic Education Commission have outlined what Thai education can gain from the AEC, while laying out the challenges and preparatory work required by the kingdom. Here's more from Kun Tawanchai Nakbulang.
There are 3 pillars to the ASEAN economic community, and education is a key element of the social-cultural pillar. With the birth of the AEC in 3 years' time, Thailand stands to benefit from more than just a freer flow of capital, labor, goods, and services. The greater regional integration will allow Thai students to better engage with their counterparts in other member countries through exchange programs, and professionals will be able to share their expertise. A Chulalongkorn University's Associate Professor of International Relations believes that the nation can, in fact, benefit greatly from being located at the heart of ASEAN.
We have countries like Singapore, Malaysia that are invested heavily in the education sector. But Thailand is of course moving along that path, but we have location advantage. and we have infrastructure advantage to accommodate more incoming students in various areas, and that is going to be one of the factors that you can build upon.
While regional connectivity is a very exciting phenomenon for the advancement of Thai education, many domestic challenges still need to be overcome. One of these is the discontinuity of the Minister of Education, leading to a lack of continuity of policy.
Thailand has all the opportunities to move forward in terms of quality, but we didn't address at the right point in the right time. And some of this problem because we did not have the continuation of the policy and the change of the government, from one to another, and the change of the Minister of Education, who lasts on average less than a year.
Additionally, the Secretary General reviewed that there are 5 goals which Thailand needs to reach to make sure we reap the most benefits from membership of the AEC. The Education Ministry is now working on increasing awareness of ASEAN among Thai students, improving their capability in English and other ASEAN languages, raising the education standard to be comparable to that of other ASEAN member countries, preparing for education mobility to face future competition from foreign institutions, and lastly, developing human resources to enhance national competitiveness.
3 years might seem like a long time, but during the next 800 days or so, Thailand has a lot to do in terms of preparing its education system. Beyond the 5 goals outlined by the Education Ministry, the academic states that Thailand has to be committed to bring in foreign scholars who can help modernize Thai education. The country needs to upgrade its education system to become a valuable and a viable member of the AEC in 2015. Tawan Chai Nak Balang, Thai PBS.
Thank you, Khun Tawan Chai. Some 200 people, mostly Muslims, gathered in front of the Myanmar embassy today, calling for an end to the bloodshed in Rakhine State of Myanmar and demanding ASEAN intervene. Today, protesters gathered in front of the Burmese embassy on Sathorn Road in Bangkok to protest against the killings by what they claim are state authorities of fellow Muslims in Myanmar's western state of Rakhine. They are also asking ASEAN to step in and help stop the killings of ethnic Rohingyas.
I only need international protection. Please send ASEAN forces to safeguard our people. I think if it is going on within days, most of our people we are finished. We are killed.
Rohingya Muslims denied citizenship in Myanmar and viewed by authorities there as illegal immigrants from Bangladesh are often in conflict with Rakhine Buddhists. Over the past week, Rohingya Muslim refugees fleeing the conflict have turned up at the Bangladesh border. The refugees were either turned back or detained. The latest round of trouble began when it was alleged that a Buddhist woman was raped and murdered by 3 Muslim men. 10 Muslims in the state were then murdered by Buddhists in retaliation. Violence between the 2 groups has left at least 50 people dead and displaced tens of thousands of others.